All right, I think I am live here in LumberJillville, and today I'm going to be going over all of the figure reveals, at least at the time of this recording, that were shown at Double or Nothing Fan Fest 2023. Now, obviously, women's wrestling lives here. We're going to get started with the women's figures and go over those, and then I'll show all the ones that I saw. Now, like I said, there might be some more reveals tonight. I'm not too sure on that if there are going to be. But either way, I'm pretty excited to show y'all these images. Now, a couple things about these reveals that I do want to get off my chest because I'm going to be honest with you. Um, it's a little concerning. It's a little concerning because we haven't gotten that many AEW figures in 2023. I mean, you go back to the reveals a year ago, and there were, I believe, 4 series that were revealed that still haven't came out, and that was a year ago. So who's to say if or when we're going to see the figures that were shown today, right? So I think that's a big glaring issue to talk about. You know, Jeremy Plower has came out, and he's talked about how there's going to be an influx of AEW figures that are going to happen. We'll see about that because he's made some promises before and didn't follow through with them. So I'm trying to keep optimistic on this line because I think the AEW women's figures are awesome looking. I think they're great. Some of the best women's figures I've reviewed, but I think the line might be doomed, but we'll see. Either way, let's dive right into these images and take a look at them. So the first thing I am going to say is it's a little bizarre. I mean, at the time of this recording, which is, let's see, 5:03 p.m. Eastern time, we haven't seen Unmatched 8, which is weird because we saw Unmatched 9, Unmatched 10, at least expected lineups for those series, but we didn't see any images of Unmatched 8, and I believe Abaddon was in that line amongst many others, so I'm not too sure why we didn't see any of those images. Also, another glaring issue is we didn't see any Supreme Series 4. So a lot of times at these releases, they like to announce these monster hits, these monster figures coming out, and they're very heavy in the Ringside Collectibles exclusives and very light as far as the Supremes go. I mean, we didn't see that Thunder Rosa Supreme, which I believe is supposed to be in Series 4, so that's a concern. Now, let me go over to the comments here. Ryder, what is up, man? And am I excited for Double or Nothing? Not really, just to be honest with you. I'd rather watch NXT. That's what I'm going to be watching. And Alec, yeah, that Tony Storm figure looks good. So let's jump right in. Let's see if I can make myself small. There I am down here. Hello, little Mayor Aaron in the corner. So let's try to do this in order. I tried to organize this in order to kind of give y'all a look. Now, first off, these images came from ringsidecollectibles.com in their Instagram, so keep that in mind. That's very important because these are not my images. Those images are from there. I'm just sharing them so we can discuss them today. Now, this is the Jade Cargill AEW Shop exclusive. Now, I believe it'll be available on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. I'm going to feel like a real tool bag if it's available right now. So before we go forward, let's just check so I don't miss out on this figure. So these are exclusives that they do at these fan fest a lot of times. And a lot of them are only available at the event, and then they'll go up online. Hey, Gold Beast, hey, Danchi. They'll only go up online on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. She should be going up. So it'll be real interesting to see. I'm going to order a couple of them. Big Jade fan, even though this is just a straight repaint, it is very unique and different because we have the green hair this time. We once again get that TBS title that came with that Amazon exclusive 2-pack. And yes, it's oversized, but it is what it is. Maybe they'll fix it in the future. And to sum it up, this figure is just a repaint, but I think this thing's going to look really cool MOC. These exclusive figures are awesome MOC because they're very unique and custom to the superstar. So I'm real excited to see what this looks like in hand. I'm a little nervous because it'll appear on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'm hoping I don't miss out. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed, y'all. Make sure to hit me up on the socials as soon as it goes up if I'm not already sitting there waiting for it. But yeah, this Jade looks cool. The first one with green hair. This attire is very vibrant, very cool. We got a little metallic silver, metallic bluish color in the attire with that white base color. Looks cool. I mean, I'd like to get one to review, one to keep MOC, but yeah, looks very awesome. Moving on, so this was a change as far as I know. So we have seen this Thunder Rosa, and this Thunder Rosa initially, I believe, was announced as the Unmatched 7 regular version, but actually, this is going to be the regular version. This will be the chase. Now, taking a closer look at the regular version here, I love it. I think it's cool. It's a very throwback, old school looking Thunder Rosa, and this straight up looks like Thunder Rosa. Sounds crazy, but before I started the channel, I was really following women's wrestlers on social media, kind of getting a foundation in LumberJillville, and she was big on the indies at the time. And this is what that reminds me of, and I love it. The red, white, and blue attire, Thunder Rosa. I love the face, the tongue out on the face scan. I mean, this honestly looks fantastic. I'm really glad this is the regular version, actually, because I really want to add this to my collection and review it. And moving on to the chase version, now this is a very unique Thunder Rosa. This is like a one-off attire, I believe, and it's really cool. We got like the lightning designs going all around, but this will be the chase. So this is going to be one of those situations where more than likely you won't find it in stores. It'll be on eBay for about $250 for a while, and then it'll go down to eventually $60. So you have to be patient, play the patient game if you're trying to get these AEW chases, because eventually they all go down in price, except for those early release ones. But hey, Moonlight Edits, what's going on? And yeah, Ryder, I like the T-Bass title too. It's cool to include it. It's cool that it's in there. So yeah, this is a cool looking Thunder Rosa chase. I mean, I love Thunder Rosa, so I'm really looking forward to this one. But this regular version, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. I think it's because it caught me out of left field. We didn't see images of this before, so I didn't know this is what they were going to go with for the regular release. Now, when Unmatched 7 will come out, who knows? But actually, at the time of this recording, if you go to ringsidecollectibles.com, it is up for pre-order. So make sure to pre-order, get your Thunder Rosa, maybe get the chase, and use discount code LJV at checkout to save 10% on all women's wrestling figures. Okay, plug is done. All right, now I am going over all the women's images, and then I'm going to break down the series figure by figure. So that's why we're seeing all the women's images first. So this was Jamie Hayter, Unmatched Series 9. This looks awesome, y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. The Jamie Hayter that I just reviewed is a pretty good figure. It's just kind of bland. Like, they should have included that furry coat that's in the chase. I think it's cheap that it wasn't included in the regular version. But here, at least we get that new AEW Women's title. But once again, it is huge. It is huge. I don't know why they have issues with belt scaling. I mean, WWE was just like that with the women's titles for a while, up until Elite 100 Becky Lynch. That's when we saw the title design shrink a little bit and become a little more form-fitting for the women's figures. And this looks big. I mean, the belt size, it doesn't really bother me. Honestly, it should, but it really doesn't. I'm focused on the figure, and this figure looks cool. This is her iconic look when she won that title, and this looks amazing. This looks fantastic. My only concern is this just happened not too long ago, and usually it takes a year once they show a figure, or once, let's say a wrestler makes an appearance, like Jamie wears this attire. Usually it takes at least a year for that attire to be made in figure form. So if you're telling me we're not going to get this figure for a year and it's only Unmatched Series 9, like, oh, that sucks. That's a long wait. But that's another concern, is when will these be released? Last year at this Fan Fest, we saw a lot of images released, and 4 sets that were shown haven't even been up for pre-order yet. So, yeah. Moving on, this took me by surprise, and I'm real excited for this, actually. I'm not a fan of LJNs. Not a fan at all. If you are, make sure to check out the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Big Rubber guys that they're selling. They're the closest thing to LJNs you can buy. I mean, they are $50 a piece, so take that with what you want. Not for me. I think it's a little too expensive personally, but I know there's a big nostalgic factor when it comes to LJN figures. And I mean, I'm going to cut to the chase. This will be my first LJN women's figure, and it's Britt. And this is such an iconic pose. And I mean, this might actually be in the logo of LumberJillville once I get it, because it just looks cool. It just looks like a statue, right? Now, obviously, this is unpainted. We're going to see a painted version later on, closer to the time the series comes out. But I'm glad we're getting a Britt LJN. I think it's really cool. It's really unique. It's definitely something new, and I like seeing that. I like when they do that with these women's wrestling figures. The WWE Masters of the Universe line, it was nice when they included women. And here, it's nice that they made an LJN Britt Baker that we're going to get. So I can't wait to see that painted. Next up, now this one I am most excited for. I was a big fan of Allie all the way back when she was in Impact Wrestling, and had a big title contention spot, I guess you could say, with Su Yung, a big rivalry with Su Yung. It was amazing. And I don't know, I just thought she was really cool, really charismatic, and she was a lot of fun. And I have been waiting for an Allie. I guess the bunny is what I should call her, but I still call her Allie. But I've been waiting for a bunny figure forever. And here it is, the prototype form at least. The jacket looks cool. The attire looks cool. The body sculpt looks spot on. And we even get a bunny mask. So that's going to be cool. I'm going to have to get, this will be the first AEW figure in a while that I'm going to get multiple of, right? I want one of these MOC because I'd like to meet her someday and have it signed. I want to review one, and my daughter's going to want one. She's wearing a bunny mask. How cool is that? And this is going to be a part of Unrivaled 13. I have a list in front of me. So Unrivaled 13. So once again, we just got Unrivaled 12. Jamie Hayter. So when will this go up for pre-order? Well, hopefully soon. That unmatched 7th under Rosa isn't supposed to be in stock until August. So once again, these figure series are so spaced apart that I'm a little concerned. We'll talk about at the end of these reveals. We'll have a little discussion about this AEW figure line and where I think it's going. But yeah, this Alley figure looks fantastic. I can't wait. All right, now look at this Unrivaled Series 14 Toni Storm. This looks cool. When they showed like a 3D rendering of a future Toni Storm figure, and the face was like, it was like, hold on, let's really, it was like this. Her face in that 3D prototype was like, you know what I mean? And I think everyone was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, Jazwares, you're doing great work. Great work. However, let's go back where we were. This is, the 3D digital rendering that we were shown, and this looks great. This looks really cool. Now, I'm thinking, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking Series 14 Unrivaled, I think Toni replaced, I think it was initially announced as Chris Statlander. You have to go back and research, but I'm pretty sure Unrivaled 14, when this, was announced like a year ago, I think they announced Chris Statlander in this line, but they replaced her with Toni, I think. But either way, this Toni looks great. The jacket looks cool. The attire looks good. The body sculpt looks really cool. It looks just like Toni. We get her iconic sunglasses, and once again, we get that new style title. So that's really awesome. I think this one's going to be a real good seller. Been a big fan of Toni ever since NXT UK, honestly. I think she's amazing. And she just is over in AEW getting wasted, basically. I know she's in storylines and stuff, but yeah, not a big fan of what's going on in the storylines. Either way, love Toni Storm. Love this figure. I think it looks fantastic. I cannot wait for this. And it'll be interesting if this figure comes with green spray paint, right? Okay, let's move on. All right, so next up we have, let's see, this is, now remember, I'm referring to a list here. I'm not too familiar with these men's figures, but we're going to cover them here. All right, so this is going to be Unmatched Series 7. So this one is what's up on pre-order right now on Ringside. We have Hook in his debut figure, and I'm going to be honest with you, it looks really cool. I'm not a huge fan of Hook. They kind of give him the Goldberg treatment, which is a little bizarre in my opinion. I don't really understand. Like, I watched Rampage for about a year when Jade was a big part of it. She still might be, I don't know. I have a real hard time watching AEW programming, to be honest with you. It's not my favorite, let me say. NXT's my favorite. But anyway, but this Hook figure looks great. All personal opinions aside, this figure looks great. The LJN CM Punk looks hilarious. It looks dumb. Now remember, this is an LJN. And this looks like a cheap knockoff company LJN. Like, this looks like, no shade, this looks like what the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast would produce. Something like this, because it's not an official LJN product. It's kind of a knockoff with their own spin to it. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I'm just saying this doesn't look like an LJN. It looks like a third-party company made it. And I don't know. I mean, either way, it looks weird to me. I'm sorry. It just looks bizarre. I think this one is going to warm the pegs, build a fire on the pegs, and start a life on the pegs. Just going to live there. Next up, we have, who's that jumping out the sky? It's R-E-Y Mysterio. Oh, not Mysterio. We got Rey Fenix. And I say that because this looks very reminiscent to that Legends Rey Mysterio that had like the exact same silver jacket and a black mask. But this is Rey Fenix. We've seen him many times before in the line. This is Pentagon. We've seen him many times before in the line. Repaints, yeah. I mean, cool, I guess, if you're into them. I mean, I like Pentagon, but we don't need any more. Next, we have Pac. I think you say Pac. I've always called him Pac, but I think it's actually Pac. Now, Pac, whatever here. Neville, okay. Neville here, this looks like the same figure that we got before. I believe that was in Series 2 of Unrivaled. Except this time we get an eye patch face and a face when his eyes got all messed up and he had a little blinder over him. Now, what's funny about that eye patch face is at this point, who doesn't have an eye patch in AEW? Pop quiz. All right, moving on. We have some more renderings, and this was showed by AEW by Jazzware's Instagram account. We have Alex Reynolds. This is Unmatched Series 9. We have Alex Reynolds and Bryan Danielson. And Alex Reynolds actually looks really cool. I know a lot of fans of his are really excited to finally get a figure of his. He's been in the Dark Order. He's one of the OGs, and we're just now getting a figure of him. So that's cool. I mean, not my thing. And that's a big issue, I think, with these AEW figures is the star power, the lack of star power. Because let's be honest here, folks. Do you see Alex Reynolds flying off the shelves? The answer is no. Okay. Bryan Danielson, pretty simple figure, but it looks cool. I love that white t-shirt that it's not a 3D rendering t-shirt or anything. It's just a white t-shirt drawn on. More than likely because it's going to be soft goods, but that's just a funny little image there. Next up, we have, not even going to try to pronounce Claudio's name. I'm just going to say Cesaro, okay? And that Cesaro looks really cool, actually. It looks just like him. They even got the hair on the chest. Very cool. Next up, we have that Moxley. Once again, Unmatched Series 9. How many Moxleys do we need, y'all? How many Moxleys do we need? And all his scans look like someone's drunk uncle. If you take all the Moxleys and line them up, they all look like someone's drunk uncle in the face. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has one of those. All right, now this is funny. Next, we have Wheeler Yuta, which I think people are excited for, I guess. I'm not too familiar with him, but okay. And then we have Jeff Hardy's head. We're not getting a Jeff Hardy figure. We're just getting a head, and that's what it's going to look like. I'm just kidding. I mean, we're getting a Jeff Hardy figure, but they just showed off the head. They even did like a 3D rotation video of it. And yeah, that's the Jeff Hardy head, everybody. Cool, right? I guess. Next up, we have Unmatched Series 10. Now, okay, we'll get to that. Unmatched Series 10, we got Adam Cole, baby. And he just has I think it's a Target exclusive, y'all, that was just put up online. So if you're a big fan of Adam Cole, he has a Target exclusive, I think, up online on Target.com. I don't advise you pre-order it because you'll find it in stores way before the pre-order ever arrives. But Unmatched 10 will be interesting to see what they do here. We got Kyle O'Reilly and his debut AEW figure. Very cool there. Next up, we have Brandon Cutler. Brandon Cutler, I'd like to introduce you to the pegs of my Walmart and Target because that's where this figure is going to sit. It's one of those guys. I'm telling you, the star power just isn't there. I mean, the only thing going for him is he does have this really vibrant attire, but it's Brandon Cutler. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, if you go through a WWE or AEW card set, there's always wrestlers in there that you're like, why would they make a card of this guy? And you don't think anything of it. Well, I think that way about the figure series. You know what I'm saying? A figure series I'm going through and I'm like, why would they make a figure of that? But the figures are a lot more expensive to produce than cards, which is a concern. Okay, next up, we have Kenny Omega. Look how huge that belt looks. But we got Kenny Omega. We don't have enough of him. And then we don't have enough Matt Jacksons and Nick Jacksons in the world, do we? We need some more of the VPs there, okay? These do look different. It looks like kind of the hipster Matt and Nick Jackson when they were doing the thing, wearing the Jordans and all that. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the shoes here. But, yeah, Matt and Nick Jackson, everybody. We don't need any more of those, do we? All right, now we have Sting. Now let me look up what this Sting is from. Okay, so this Sting is from Unrivaled 13, so the same series as the Bunny. And then we have the Butcher and the Blade, obviously, in the same series as a Bunny. And these two guys are cool. That's another thing. If you look at AEW's roster and you're looking at toyeticness, I guess, there's so much dark colors, so much black. Yeah, I mean, Butcher and the Blade, I think they're cool. I do think they're cool, and I love the Bunny. But once again, are there going to be people? And I know there's going to be people in the comments like, I've been waiting for a Butcher figure. I've been waiting for a Blade figure. But how deep is that desire to have a Butcher and Blade figure in your collection? You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's very deep, y'all. And I didn't know if that was going to be an issue with past series, but look at Santana and Ortiz, for goodness sakes. I mean, they're still, if someone wanted those, I could go to my store and probably find multiples of each. They're just warming the pegs. So it's cool that they're getting figures, but once again, kind of questionable decision on that. Now, here's a figure that should sell. This one should sell. I think this will be a hot seller, and they need hot sellers. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I feel like the Danhausen hype train has really kind of gone down, really slowed down. I know he got injured, but he has a lot of fans. I think he's pretty funny. I think he's pretty cool. He's very unique, built his own character, and I think that's great. I think he deserves all the love and respect in the world, and it's great to see these figures here. And we're not done. There's gonna be more figures down the line I'm gonna show y'all. But here, we have the regular version of Unrivaled 13 on the left, and on the right we have the Chase, which comes with that plastic cape. Two really cool figures, honestly. This is a time where the Chase and the regular version are so drastically different that it's really neat. Really, really cool. And I don't collect the men's figures, but I'd be very intrigued to pick one of these up if I saw it in stores. Okay, now I know a lot of people are excited for this. We have Unrivaled Series 14, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. The Acclaimed here, and they do have scissor hands, everybody. So all you 40-year-olds that make that scissor joke, here you go. Anyway, yeah, we have Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. I think these will sell okay, Unfortunately, I think the big issue with a lot of these, like, they had a time period where they were really hot. I'd say a couple months ago, people couldn't stop talking about them. By the time Unrivaled Series 14 hits the stores, who knows if they're even going to be on AEW TV? Who knows if anyone's going to know who they are? So, yeah, that's the only unfortunate thing. But these figures look cool, especially Max Caster. Look at that attire, the headphones, the hat, the chains, the mic. Very cool. Next up, we have Swerve Strickland here. Yeah, two former WWE employees, and Keith Lee. This is funny. I think the Keith Lee is it just makes me giggle. It's a very interesting face here. Very interesting. The Swerve looks awesome. Let's just get that out of the way. The Swerve looks great. The attire looks very intricately painted. It looks awesome. Moving over to Keith Lee. Woof. The Keith Lee Elite figures were low-key really underrated. They were really good. And this is pretty much the same exact attire, a same design, except an AEW figure form. So that'll be an interesting side-by-side comparison, kind of like what I did with Ruby Riott and Ruby Soho. I'd like to see someone on YouTube compare these two, the Series 14 Keith Lee and then the Elite. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it looks very good. Now, last but not least, we have Lex Luger, the total package. Wait, that's Billy Gunn, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, that looks nothing like Billy Gunn. When I was going through the images, I was like, wait, how did they get rights to Lex Luger? That looks like the best Lex Luger figure we've ever seen. That looks like the best Lex Luger that's ever been released, ever been sculpted by man. And it's actually Billy Gunn. So there's that. Next up, this is a weird one. Unrivaled 15, we only saw two. We saw Daniel Garcia and Ethan Page. Ethan Page is one of those. A lot of fans of his are real excited for an Ethan Page figure. Looks like a soft goods jacket is what's going to come with. So that's really cool. But again, do you think Ethan Page is going to fly off the store shelves and help keep this line treading water? I don't think so. And Daniel Garcia. All right, so these are the ringside exclusives here. We have Hook. Looks cool. I think they're going to do a real good job with these Hook figures. They look pretty spectacular. That box is actually really neat. Those trunks, I mean, that looks like a pretty killer figure, honestly. Like, I'm actually tempted. I'm not a Hook fan, and I'm tempted right now to pre-order that. Anyway, moving on, we have the Danhausen ringside exclusive, and that might be up. The pre-order for that might be up right now at the time of this recording. That looks pretty neat. So yeah, the packaging is unique. It looks very cool. And next up, we have Sammy Guevara, and they did show additional images on, I think it was ringside. And one of the faces, he's like making a kiss face and his eyes are shut. And it has to be the most ridiculous face sculpt and scan I've ever seen in my life. I was cracking up. It's so stupid. Okay, but yeah, TNT champion has got two oversized TNT titles. Sammy, cool. And then we have Blood and Guts Wheeler Yuta. So yeah, it's a bloody figure, all right. Now we have the Amazon.com 2-packs. Now these are the ones like the Jade and the Britt. Here we have yet another Moxley, y'all. Someone's drunk uncle coming back in my list here, and there he is. And he comes with Bryan Danielson, and I think that's cool because that Bryan Danielson unmatched figure, I never saw it at my stores, and I probably never will. But It looked like a cool figure. It looked like a real cool figure, and I'm glad that people are gonna have an opportunity to get it this way if they want, and it is just a repaint, both of them are, but it's different attire for Danielson, so I think that's really cool. But yeah, Moxley, come on now, y'all. How many Moxleys? Oh, all right, now this is like this is the first image I saw on the day, right? And this 2-pack looks cool. I don't collect the men's figures. Every once in a while, I'll pick one up. You know, we're all about reviewing women's wrestling figures here in LumberJillville. By we, I mean me. You know, I'm all about reviewing the women's wrestling figures here. But yo, I when I see something cool, I gotta call it out. And this looks cool. This looks really cool. I mean, MOC, this thing is stupendous. It looks amazing. I mean, the hook is great. The extra head's even cool. And then this Danhausen looks amazing. So yeah, this 2-pack looks great. All right, then we have some Walmart exclusives. And listen, if someone's drunk uncle is Moxley, someone's drunk cousin is definitely this Eddie Kingston figure. This Eddie Kingston figure is like when you go to a family reunion and you know your cousin you haven't seen in years kind of like dropped out of some things, maybe quit some jobs. What are you up to? Oh, I'm working on a rap career. You know, I'm an upstarter rap career. Here's my demo CD. You know, like that's what he looks like. So we have John Moxley as someone's drunk uncle, and then we have your trying to be a rapper cousin Eddie Kingston here as a Walmart exclusive. Yeah, that'll fly off the shelves, everybody, right? Now, something that actually I think will fly off the shelves. This Jericho looks really neat. I mean, this Jericho Walmart exclusive looks really cool. I think the likeness looks pretty good. Kind of hard for me to see. The likeness looks good, but I mean, the purple shoes, the purple jacket, the purple glove, that's a cool looking figure, y'all. I mean, that's a sharp figure, no joke. I think it looks amazing. So yeah, we had a little bit of a mix here as far as all the reveals. But again, here's what we're going to talk about is, you know, I've discussed it before. It's a real concerning problem that, for example, Unrivaled 11, Penelope Ford, and Unrivaled 12, Jamie Hayter, had over 8 months between the two of them from when they were released. Like, yikes. I mean, if we get an Unrivaled set every 8 months, like, oh, we're not going to see some of these figures for another 2.5, 3 years. Now, I know Jeremy Padawer came out and said that things should start picking up, I guess. But I'll believe it when I see it at this point. I don't think Jazzwares and AEW has given us any reason to believe them saying something like that. They're kind of in a prove it now stage, in my opinion. I think they really need to prove something to us fans, us collectors, that they hear us. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like there's been a lot just kind of thrown out there that isn't exactly honest. We'll say that. But at the end of the day, to say something positive, I mean, these AEW women's reveals and even some of the men's reveals, I think as far as the men's figures goes, I mean, Hook and Danhausen, I think, are the winners of the men's figures. They look like really cool figures, and there's multiple of each. And then as far as the women's figures go, this Jade exclusive is very neat. I'm glad we're getting a Jade exclusive, our first Jade with green hair. But I'm real excited for this bunny figure, y'all. I'm real excited for this bunny figure. It looks really cool, and such a fan of her. But also the first female LJN, that's a big deal. Huge deal there. I think that'll be cool. Now, obviously, there was a Miss Elizabeth LJN in the OG WWF collection, but I don't have that Miss Elizabeth. I know she goes for a pretty decent amount, but it'll be interesting to see their take this many years later on a female in the LJN line. So I'm excited. I think that looks really cool because it's got a little cartoony element, but it's got enough realism to have its own character. This looks like maybe what her design is going to look like in the new AEW video game. And I think that's cool. I think it's like stylized, but accurate. You can tell it's her. I'm excited to see this painted up. Also, this Jamie Hayter looks really cool. Like I said, my biggest concern, this wasn't that long ago that she wore this and won the title. So we probably won't see this figure for like another year. And at that point, why would they announce and show things to us that we're not going to see for at least a year? I think it's kind of overboard here. And then this Thunder Rosa is one of my personal favorites I'm excited for because I didn't know this was even going to be in the line. And here it is. And I think it's a really cool attire. I think it's simple. It's kind of plain, but it really pops. And I'm real excited for that. Thunder Rosa, shout out. Follows me on Instagram. Big fan of her. So before I head out, I haven't done a live in a while. Is there anybody that has any questions for me that is here? I know we don't have a whole lot of people here right now, but does anyone have any questions that, since I'm here, you can ask me? I'd be more than happy to give you my answer. And yeah, give a couple minutes for some questions. Maybe your question is, hey, Aaron, can you stop talking, please? And I get it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm hoping to get maybe a couple questions. Okay, so it's Moonlight Edits. It's Moonlight Edits says, favorite figure of all time. Ooh, I would honestly say Sasha Banks Elite 83. I don't think it's necessarily the best figure of all time, but that's a very special one to me that I would consider it my favorite. It came on a Christmas Eve where I didn't have my daughter. It was one of my first Christmas Eves alone. And it arrived on Christmas Eve. And I got to film that review and kind of fill that void of being alone for the holiday. And on top of that, I filmed the intro days before, and my daughter was in it with the blue wig on and sunglasses, and I was dressed as Bailey. And she had a blast and I had a blast, and that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? That just meant a lot to me. So I think that Sasha is my favorite figure. I'd say I have a lot of favorites, but that one sentimentally, it's top dog. Yeah. Hi, Bobby Smith. What's up, Bobby? How you doing? Okay, let's see. I want to know why Jason J and Gigi are still on back order on rings. So yeah, okay, so here's the deal, everyone. Like, I have a Ringside discount code, but I do not work for Ringside. I don't get insider information or anything like that. The one thing I'm going to say, and this is just speculation here, is this started, I believe, with Basic 136 Xia Li, and then it kind of continued after that the women's basics, y'all, the pre-order one is up for like 5 minutes, and then it disappears. And then it'll appear again for pre-order 2, and then it disappears. And there's no way that those are selling out that quick. There's no way. So here's my thing. I think, quite honestly, I think they're short ordering or short pre-ordering the women's basics, in all honesty. I think, when they put in their order for how many they're going to order of each superstar in the basic line, I think they really under order on the female figures. And I'd like to see that changed. So tag them on Instagram, tag them on social media and be like, hey, when are the women's basics actually going to be available to pre-order? Because there's so many people that missed out on those. And that sucks. I missed out on Gigi and JC, the first pre-order at least. I had to get them online off someone so I could get them and review them and spend a lot on them. And then the Liv Morgan basic, I got lucky and jumped and got it in the first 5 minutes, but it shouldn't be like that. Pre-orders should be available for whoever wants to pre-order them, right? They shouldn't sell out that quick. I understand if they sell out, but if it sells out within a day, okay, they had plenty of time to pre-order something that they wanted and they missed out. But when it's like the first 5 minutes, that's inexcusable. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. So they need to change whatever they're doing, whatever process they're doing right now over at Ringside, as far as ordering women's basics. They got to switch that up and change it because they're losing business on those women's figures. I know basics isn't a huge priority for them probably because there are basic figures, but I know so many people that legit wanted to pre-order the Gigi, wanted to pre-order the JC, wanted to pre-order the Liv, wanted to pre-order the Xia, and were not able to. And that's money left on the table that they're not getting. So I don't understand their thought process. So I'd be interested to talk to someone in charge, someone over there, and see why this is happening, why they're selling out so quick, and to see if there's anything behind my theory. All right. I'll take a couple more questions, and then I'm going to head out. So I just wanted to go over some of the figure reveals today, and there might be more coming at some point. And the one thing I will say actually is some people posted. I didn't want to post images. They weren't my images to post, but they did announce some future series. Okay, so Unmatched Series 11 we have Ty Conti. I'm just going to announce the females here because a lot of them are just re-releases. We're talking MJF, we're talking Darby. Who cares, right? So we have Ty Conti, Unmatched Series 11. That'll be cool. It looks like she might have her face paint over the eyes. That Ty Conti that I have in my collection is one of the best women's wrestling figures of all time. Truly underrated. Unrivaled Series 16. Oh my God. Series 16, y'all. Series 16 at this rate will not come out until 2026. Okay. Anyway, in Unrivaled 16, they actually have Julia Hart, and I'm excited. That was on my list for most wanted future figures. I think she'd make a great figure, and it looks like eventually we'll say we're going to get it. So that's really cool. And then Unrivaled Series 15. So a set before that, we have Paige in that one. So that'll be cool. That'll be interesting to see how the AEW page holds up to the WWE page. I have some ideas, but yeah. So before I get off, I just want to check ringside and see if there is any changes here or anything that's been added before I sign off here. So you'll have to let me know in the comments what your favorite reveals were for today. You know, what figures you're most excited to see. So, okay. One more question. Last question. What's your favorite gear that you want to see in AEW and WWE? So WWE, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, Sasha Banks, we never got, and we never will unless she comes back. Now, I heard there were rumors that she was actually going to get an Ultimate figure and they scrapped it. And if I find out that it was her gear from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, oh, I will be heartbroken. Your boy Mayor Aaron will be so sad. But anyway, I always wanted a Carmella, and I'm very nostalgic for Carmella and her SmackDown Championship reign. When she would wear like the one-piece bathing suit attires, the black and white checker attire with like the baby blue Carmella on it, baby blue accents. For some reason, that was like my favorite attire of all time. It just looked really cool. It was a lot of fun, and I would love to see that in figure form. Now, as far as AEW goes, I don't know if they're able to do this. Probably not. But Jade Cargill has done some amazing cosplay-inspired costumes. She's done She-Hulk. She's done Jade from Mortal Kombat. She's done, I think, Chitara from Thundercats. And I would actually really like to see the Jade from Mortal Kombat. Again, I don't know if they could do that. I don't know if, well, obviously, I don't think Jazzwares has the Mortal Kombat license or anything, but I wonder if they could put Jade in that green type attire and legally be able to do that, because that would be my favorite attire that I'd like to see in AEW figure form, because it'd be so unique, so cool, and it would really pop off the shelf. So I'd really like to see that. So with that being said, y'all, I appreciate y'all coming into this live stream. Stay tuned. Anyone here that used to watch Saturday Night Surge, I might be doing something with 2K23. So stay tuned, and I might be doing something this summer and bringing back the old LJV Surge 2K23 live stream in some way, shape, or form. So I appreciate anyone that came in. I hope you enjoyed checking out these images. Let me know in the comments which one you liked, and I hope y'all have a great night. I really appreciate y'all. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here.